Hello everybody, Tim Crane here. Today I'm going to talk about a deal I'm actually in the process of doing right at this moment. And I'm going to start at the beginning here. It was a Sunday morning. I woke up, it was about 7 o'clock in the morning. First thing I do when I get up is go and check my emails. I am a realtor, and so I belong to the MLS system in my area. And every time I have it set up on the MLS, that every time a new listing in my area goes on the market, I get an email telling me about the listing because I want to be aware of all the listings in my area. And so by doing this, I've found that when another agent who's in a different area gets a listing in my area and they submit it to their MLS system, I don't get an email. And so I'm unaware of that property that's for sale in my area. And I don't really like that. So what I did was I went to Trulia.com and to Zillow.com and I submitted my same search criteria into them there. And now anytime somebody else posts a listing in my area, even if it's not on my MLS system, I still get an email from Trulia and Zillow, which alerts me of the property that's for sale. And so Sunday morning, 7:30 in the morning, I get this email. It says 3-bedroom, 2-bath brick home. 3-bedroom, 2-bath brick home on 15 acres with a pond. And they're asking $24,900 for it. And I'm like, well, holy cow, hold on a second here. Let me go pull the tax card. So I pulled the tax card. It says the tax value is $105,000. Says the house is 1,500, almost 1,800 square feet. And the last time it sold for $118,000. The time before that for 60, time before that for 47. 15.29 acres. And so I felt pretty good with a $24,900 asking price. And so I called the lady, I called the listing agent, 7:30 in the morning, Sunday morning. I probably called her about 50 times till she answered the phone. I know that's a little unprofessional, but I want to stress to you guys something. That if there is a deal out there and you know that it's a deal, if you are not the first person there to jump on it, you will get beat out of it. And so I want to stress that when there is a deal out there like this, you have to do everything you can to be that person. And so if it means calling the listing agent 50 times on a Sunday morning, then so be it. Finally, she answered the phone. I apologized immediately for calling her and pestering her on a Sunday morning. I said, listen, I'm interested in this property. She said, yes, it's still available. I had one person call me yesterday. It was another agent, but I haven't really heard anything from her. I said, okay, well, I want to go look at it right now. And so she gave me the code and I drove out there to look at it. I went out there and looked at it. And when I got there, the other lady agent was there looking at the property with her clients. And so I went through and took pictures of it, looked at it the best I could, decided it was a deal, and I drove home and wrote up an offer immediately for $25,500, which was more than the asking price was. And so I submitted my offer that day. I heard back from the lady yesterday. The next day I called the listing agent. I'm like, hey, have you heard anything? And she said no. She said the other agent called me and told me that she would be submitting an offer too. And I said, well, okay. So I was like, damn, I don't want to get into the bidding war with anybody. But she said, she give her a little bit of leeway and let her get her offer in. And so the next day came and she's like, hey, I haven't heard anything from the lady. I'm just going to go ahead and submit your offer. I'm like, great, go ahead and do that. So she submitted the offer and a day went by and I didn't hear anything. And then the next day came and I still didn't hear anything. Finally, the listing agent's secretary called me and she said, hey, I just heard back from the company. They want your highest and best offer. And I said, well, okay. I'm going to get into this bidding war thing. I said, I want to bid $28,500. So I raised my bid $3,000. Then about an hour later, I get a call from the listing agent and she calls me up and she says, hey, Tim, listen, they're calling back for the highest and best, but you're the only offer in. There's no other offers in. I said, okay. She goes, so if you don't want to bid $28,500, you don't have to. And I said, I would prefer not to if I don't have to. She said, well, we'll just keep your bid at $25,500. I said, okay, that would be great. Thank you very much. And so she submitted my offer back in at $25,500. 2 days went by, and the whole time I was worried about it. I was like, holy cow, am I going to get it? Am I going to get it? Finally, they counter offered back to me at $26,000. And I said, wait, hold on a second. Let me get this straight. Their asking price is $24,900. I bid over the asking price at $25,500. And now they're counter offering back at $26,000. I said, listen, it doesn't, that's good for me. I just want the property. I don't want to lose it. And so I'll accept their offer of $26,000. And so I had a contract on the deal. And I ended up purchasing the property for $26,000. That's what I got it for. And we closed on it September 9th, 2013. And I immediately, without touching it, and I want to tell you guys that if I would have had about 20 grand laying around where I could have fixed this property up and put it back in pristine shape, I would have spent the 20 grand fixing this property up, and I probably would have been able to sell it pretty easily with new cabinets, new AC, all that good stuff. Probably for about 90 grand, I would have probably cleared 40, 45 grand on this deal. But I didn't have 20 grand laying around. All my money's tied up in other properties. And so what I did was, without touching it, I turned around and I put it right back on the market for $50,000. Now, I was asking $50,000, which still, when you read 3-bedroom, 2-bath brick house on 15 acres with a pond for $50,000, you think to yourself, holy cow, that's an awesome deal. And it was an awesome deal. It still is an awesome deal for the person buying it. It's awesome. And so I got a call from a lady out of California, and they want to go look at it. And I said, well, go look at it, check it out, tell me what you guys think. She decided that she liked it and that she wanted it. And I said, well, you guys make me an offer. And so she made me an offer. Well, in the same time she made me an offer, I got another offer from another agent, and my phone was starting to ring off the hook because I'd only had it on the market for about 3 or 4 days. And it takes a little while to get out there. But then when it did get out there, holy cow, man, my phone was just going berserk. Anyway, so the lady's offer was the higher of the two. And so I said, I'm going to deal with her first. And so she made me an offer for $40,000 cash. And that was the number I was shooting for, at least 40. So I said, well, I could probably eke her a little bit more and get her up. And maybe I should have asked for a little bit more. But what I ended up telling her was, listen, if you give us $42,000, it's a deal and you got it. And she said, okay. And so right now we were in the process of trying to close on it. Today's the 22nd, and I am set to close on this deal on the 27th, which is next week, Wednesday. I'm set to close on this property, and we will end up making $16,000 on this deal. Didn't touch it, didn't do any work, didn't do any plumbing, painting, fixing. And this is another one of those deals that I want you guys to realize that this is a created deal. Somebody might have just bought this property and moved into it and then realized their equity after they sold it years from now. But I bought this deal, turned around, put it back on the market for a reasonable price. I mean, $50,000 for this property is an awesome deal. And so I knew I wasn't going to hold it long. I knew it was going to go pretty quick, even with the repairs that it needed. And so I put it back on the market, sold it, or it's not sold yet, but we're in the process, and we're going to make 16 grand from this deal. I love real estate. You guys keep watching my videos, and thanks for watching.